Welcome to the Nog Vlog. My name is Lance and I'm going to take you on a complete walking tour of the Carnival Jubilee. The Jubilee is Carnival's third Excel class ship and first to ever set sail out of Galveston, Texas, sailing its maiden voyage in December of 2023. We're going to go deck by deck, top to bottom, front to back to show you everything this vessel has to offer. The highest you can go is deck 19 in the forward part of the ship, and that's where we'll start with the exclusive area known as Loft 19. Access to this area is through a set of stairs down from deck 18 below. We'll see that in just a moment. Or there's an elevator that takes you from 18 to 19 right near this entrance as well. Now, I mentioned there is some exclusivity for this deck. It's only available to guests who have reserved a cabana either for that particular day or possibly for the entire sailing, as well as Jubilee guests booked in one of the Excel suites. We'll take a deeper dive into the cabana amenities in just a moment, but if you're interested in booking one, you could do so using your cruise manager on carnival.com just before you're sailing. There is a infinity style spa. We'll take a look at that when we loop around in just a moment. Real quick, I just want to spend a few moments welcoming any new viewers to our channel. Here at the Nog Vlog, we pride ourselves on having the best and most informative ship tours available in the industry. You'll see the map on the lower left hand of the screen. This will actually pivot with us as we traverse through the different decks of the ship, and the green icon will follow the camera everywhere it goes, helping you, the future passenger, be familiar with where everything is and know exactly how to get to where you want to go for when you first step foot aboard the Carnival Jubilee. Back to the tour, here is the shipbuilder's plaque installed here on Loft 19. You saw the official ship coins installed on the other side. While we feel the cabanas are way too pricey for us to find any value in, these three here that are facing down below to the Serenity deck, that are not going to have any of that wind hitting it. I would have to imagine these are probably the most sought after cabanas here on Loft 19. So as you can see, guests using this area have this whirlpool available to them. You'll see these showers all throughout the ship to help you rinse off when you're done in any of the pools. All the pools and whirlpools on the ship will cycle through ocean water, but the showers will have desalinated fresh water in case you want to rinse that salt water off. If you're in the mood to show off to the folks at Serenity down below that you have access to the Loft 19 area, this is definitely the place to do it. Let's go ahead and peek inside one of these Loft 19 cabanas, see everything that it has to offer. You're welcome to pause the screen to read through all of the listed perks for these cabanas. And we'll peek down at the table below where they have one of the food menus you can order from and have a server bring right there to your cabana. We'll close the loop here on Loft 19. Again, Excel Suite guests have the opportunity to use this area. They get priority reservations for cabanas, but they don't automatically come with the cabana, so they might just use some of this lounge space here at the top. So that concludes things here for Loft 19. There is a little space that's technically on deck 19 in the aft of the ship. That's the back of the ship. And that's going to be the queue for the Bolt roller coaster ride. So we'll show you that space here real quick, but we'll deep dive into all the details about Bolt when we pass the true entrance, which is down below on deck 18 in a moment. We'll head to the forward part of deck 18. Now from here on out, we'll start each new deck in the forward elevator bank and stairwell, so you always have that reference point. Either exit will take you out to the Serenity Adults Only Retreat. That means ages 21 and up only, no kids allowed. Here you see the elevator for Loft 19, and right outside the doors is a convenient towel return area. The actual towel station for Serenity is on the starboard side. We'll see that in just a moment. As we spin around, you'll see the stairs that take you up to Loft 19. As you turn left towards the aft of the ship, you'll see there is a large whirlpool. With it currently in heavy use, we won't film it too much, but we'll check out the starboard side whirlpool in just a moment. Now, new for this ship tour, we are going to bring in every single menu from every single food venue and bar on the ship. You might have to pause because it's only going to be on the screen for a short amount of time. And if you're watching on your phone, you might have to zoom in, but we want to have all that information for your upcoming sailing at your fingertips. So this first food venue is the Fresh Creation Salad Bar. It's only open from noon to 2:30 on sea days. You can create your own custom healthy salad, or maybe not so healthy if you're just going to smother it with a bunch of ranch dressing. Right next door is the Serenity Bar. The Serenity Bar has some exclusive drinks just to their menu that are perfect for a day in the sun or the shade out at sea. And as we spin around, you can see the most popular place is around this pool. We saw this just a little bit earlier from above on Loft 19. It is probably the most popular spot of the Serenity deck. Frequent Galveston cruisers are probably familiar with the Carnival Breeze, Dream, and Vista Serenity spaces. They've massively expanded this Serenity space here on the Excel class ships in the Carnival Jubilee. While we peek over the front of the ship into the beautiful port of Mahogany Bay, I want to toss out there, we love for our ship tour video comment sections to be a place where future cruisers can get excited about their upcoming sailing. So let us know when you're sailing on the Jubilee and what you're most excited about. While you're at it, if you're finding this video informative, do us a favor, smash a like button. It really helps our channel out. We greatly appreciate it. Back to the tour, you can see Serenity has tons of loungers, day beds, clamshells, everything that you might need to relax. You can use your ship card to check out a towel. Just make sure you do get credit for returning it so you don't get charged an extra 25 bucks or so after your cruise. You'll see some restrooms here on the starboard side, and as I mentioned, a second whirlpool. Now, because it was a very hot day here on Roatan Island, there wasn't a whole lot of demand for the whirlpool on this side of the ship facing the sun. I do kind of like this nook over here, just in case the whirlpool's full. If you want to set your stuff down over here and hang out, maybe wait for that next person to leave, you can be close by to hop in and take their spot as they exit. Speaking of exits, while still here on Deck 18, we'll go ahead and leave the Serenity adult-only area. Here you can see rows and rows of available loungers. It's nearly impossible to not find a lounger on this ship. Of course, exiting Serenity and being a little bit closer to the middle of the ship where the Lido pool is, you'll hear a little bit more of the music or whatever action's going on there. I will say, behind this paneling, there is a little bit of an engine rumble, a hum, so to speak. The music from the Lido area drowns it out pretty well, but it is still noticeable, and you have to weigh your options depending on if you want shade versus a view, if you want to be able to have access to the Carnival Seaside Theater, all of those things. We'll peer around the corner to the right. You can see the portside entrance to the Serenity area that we first started at. There's obviously a gap of Deck 18 here where the Lido pool is. So right across the way, you'll see a set of stairs. That's where we're going to pick up next for the rest of the tour of Deck 18. So this whole area on the aft part of Deck 18 is called the Ultimate Playground. First thing you see walking up these stairs is the sports court. You can see some outdoor foosball, table tennis available, and you also see stairs that take you up to the entrance to the ropes course. I'll go more into the ropes course and the sports court when we loop back around on the starboard side of the ship. But we'll head aft right now. Above us is part of the track for the Bolt roller coaster, and of course the famous Carnival Whale Tail plus size for this Excel class ship. Lots of clamshells to take a leisurely rest on here on the Ultimate Playground. This jogging track measures out to needing 7 circuits to equal 1 mile. But as you can see, it's pretty narrow, so keep that in mind in case you'd rather use the fitness center down below on Deck 6. Ladies' restrooms located here on the port side of the ship, and the next area we'll come across is the Carnival Waterworks. The bottom area has tons of splash activities and a mini racer slide for children. Up top of the stairs, you'll see the classic Carnival staple, the Twister water slide. The Blue Lightning water slide, which you actually take a mat to the top and ride that down. The third slide is the Orange Thunder, which starts out as a drop slide. The 150-gallon power drencher bucket can keep kids cool on a hot port day or sea day. Pending weather conditions, Carnival Waterworks is open every day of your sailing, typically from 9 a.m. in the morning and closing in the evening around sunset. Just behind the Waterworks area is the mini golf course. Simply come up, grab a club, grab a ball, and play away. You'll find 9 holes on this golf course, and open hours are from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day of your cruise. This is also a common spot for people to come take footage of their fellow travelers when they're riding on the Bolt roller coaster. You can book your reservation on the Hub app for $15. You get 2 laps around the track. Real quick, there's a pair of stairs that take you down to Deck 17 below here behind mini golf. So, Bolt roller coaster, good and bad. On our actual cruise, it was only open the very first day. Rumor is the part they needed to fix it was only available in Galveston, so it had to be shut down the entire remaining portion of the cruise. We loved riding Bolt on the Carnival Celebration, so we were sad we didn't get to do it here on the Jubilee. So key takeaway, book it as early as you can just in case mechanical or weather issues prevent it from operating later in your cruise. I was actually poking fun with this attendant that had to turn people away every time they came up to try to make their reservation. You saw the men's restroom there behind the Bolt entrance. And as we head further back around, we'll see the ropes course in more detail. Brave souls that want to do the ropes course 150 feet above the ocean just need to be 48 inches tall, under 300 pounds. You do need a shirt with sleeves to wear the harness. And of course, you must have closed-toe shoes on. Ropes course hours were 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on port days and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on sea days, weather permitting. Basketball is usually taking place here on the sports court, but it is open for pickleball, volleyball, dodgeball tournaments even. The sports court is lighted, so it's open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. no matter the day of the cruise. You've got a couple of cornhole boards up here, as well as some more foosball. Last thing I'll show you is the pair of midship elevators that take you here up to deck 18. You'll want to use the two most forward of those midship elevators. Those are the only ones that go up here to deck 18. So let's head down to deck 17 below, back to the forward part of the ship. Now this is actually where staterooms are, but there is a need to show you a public access area here, and that's going to be the express elevator down to the spa on deck 5. All the staterooms on deck 17 forward are Cloud9 spa cabins. So this express elevator allows you to get right down to the thermal suites of deck 5. And while that is a positive, there is one big negative to choosing one of these spa suites here on deck 17. There's actually no access to the outer public area of deck 17. And it's frustrating for a lot of people to find out that they have to go up or down a deck every single time just to get out to the main public areas of deck 17. Again, you can see this wall here, there's no entrance or exit that would allow you to get to this area. For this part that surrounds the pool below, it is pretty symmetrical. There's stairs that take you up to deck 18 over there. But as we loop around, you'll see all wall here, no pathway to allow you to get to those spa staterooms on deck 17. We'll spin around, you'll see stairs taking you down to the Lido pool area below. Just like above on 18, tons of loungers. These get a little bit more popular because they're surrounding the pool, of course. Lots of activity going on here. The bandstand is right around the corner. That's where the DJ will post up for all the parties on the deck, including the oh-so-popular sail away party. In order to show you the rest of deck 17, we're not going to go all the way back right now, but we'll hit this spot up in just a moment. We're going to turn in, we'll pass the bandstand. You'll see access to the midship elevators and stairs through these doors here. Just around the corner here are some restrooms and another set of stairs that take you back down to the Lido area below. Right around the corner, you'll see the top deck of the two-tiered Red Frog Tiki Bar. Like I mentioned above, frequent Galveston cruisers are going to be very familiar with the Red Frog Rum Bar and the Blue Iguana Tequila Bar. This two-story tiki bar is a little bit of combination of both, plus addition of some new drinks. This upper deck area does have some nice views of the Lido area down below. Depending on your party size, you can grab a table here and post up for one of those deck parties. The upper level is just a little bit smaller. It does get a little bit more crowded up here when things are busy, so just keep that in mind. You just saw these surfboards a few seconds ago. That's where those restrooms are. I mentioned the area we just walked through was pretty symmetrical, so we'll take a peek looking forward, but we're not going to actually walk along this port side of the ship. Instead, we'll spin around. You'll see the stairs that we use to get up to the ultimate playground above. Tucked just inside those stairs is the first of 3 Swirls ice cream stations that we'll find across the ship. You'll see a drink station, and if the surfboards were any hint to you, that means we are entering the Carnival staple Guy Fieri's burger joint. Much larger in size for this Excel class ship. Grab yourself a delicious cheeseburger, load it up with whatever you want from the toppings bar, and enjoy. They work quick here, so don't get discouraged if you see a line. You'll be in and out and savoring that delicious, super melty cheeseburger in no time. Standard hours are noon to 6 p.m. every day of your sailing. Right next door, you'll find the entrance to Club 02. This is the kids club for the older teens on the ship, ages 15, 16, and 17. This lounge gives those older teens tons of space to meet and greet all their fellow peers on the sailing. Even for this age, they have craft works, TVs for either movies or consoles for video games. When open, there's always a dedicated youth counselor there. Lots of nifty little places to sit and hang out or just be a zombie on their phone, whatever they like to do best. There's a large area with a jukebox for dance parties, karaoke, tons of things to keep your older kids occupied, having fun, out of trouble, while the parents are out and about enjoying other parts of the ship. In addition to this inside lounge, there is an additional outdoor space just for Club 02, which is really nice and lets them enjoy that open air, still as part of the designated Club 02 space. We'll return back out to the entrance of Club 02. We'll peek around the corner here. There's some additional tables to eat at. We're actually going to finish our tour right in this spot, so we'll see those in just a moment. We'll cut through the dining area for Guy's Burgers, and across the way you'll see the entrance to Circle C. Now this is the teen lounge for the kids just a little bit younger, ages 12, 13, and 14. Circle C has many of those same type of activities, of course catered to this younger teen age group. And very similar to Club 02, you can see there's lots of places to hang out, make new friends, or of course, just like the older kids, be a zombie and stare at their phones all cruise long. For both Club O2 and Circle C, kids can come and go as they please. There's no check-in, check-out system for kids this age. Open hours will vary. Typically, it's going to start midday. It'll stop for dinner at around 5 o'clock, open back up again at 7 or 8 p.m., and go all the way until 1 a.m., which is the curfew for all kids under 18 on the ship. Kids 11 and under will attend Camp Ocean. That's going to be down on deck 4, so we'll see that later on in the ship tour. Adjacent to Circle C is the Warehouse Arcade. This arcade is open to all guests on the cruise, and it's open 24 hours a day, every day of your sailing. It is a cashless system, so you use your Sail Inside cards, which of course are linked to either a debit card or a cash account. Game prices range from 75 cents up to $2, with the majority of games being about $1 to play. For any guest on your reservation, you can set the daily limit for their card for any purchases on the ship, so that includes here in the arcade. There's not a lot, but there are a few redemption games. This is all done through e-tickets that are logged on your Sail and Sign card, and you can redeem those tickets using a self-service prize hub located there in the arcade. Sadly, my wife has banned me from playing the arcade because deep in my mind, I have to be able to win something out of those pesky claw games. So we didn't use the arcade on this sailing, but I was really impressed with the number of new games that I haven't seen on past Carnival ships. Heading outside, we've got the midship stairwell and elevator bank. We saw it from above, but I'll show you down here. Again, if you're trying to get up to the ultimate playground, you have to use these two forwardmost elevators. They will allow you to get up to 18. All the rest here in the midship bank top out here on deck 17. There's a separate button there just for those two elevators, so make sure you hit that if you're trying to go up to 18. Heading out around on the starboard side of the ship towards the aft, we will approach an area that we just peeked at a little bit earlier. This entire space really is just loungers. As you get further aft, you'll actually enter one of the first designated smoking areas on the ship. One thing to note, this is the only designated smoking area where cigars and tobacco pipes are allowed. These stairs will take you down to the Tides pool area on deck 17 below. You get a little sneak preview right now. The true aft of deck 18 is not part of the smoking area, but just know that some of it might linger around the corner if that's something you want to avoid. The other designated smoking area is going to be down on deck 8. We'll see that in just a little bit. These are those pair of stairs that will take you up to just behind the mini golf of the ultimate playground. And just like where we came from, these stairs will take you back down to the Tides pool area on deck 16 below. You can see we've come back around to the outdoor space from Club O2. You can see all the additional seating spots for Guy's Burger Joint. And that wraps things up for deck 17. So let's go down to 16. We'll go back to the forward elevator bank and stairwell. Now 16 forward is also staterooms, so we're going to head straight down this pathway all the way to the entrance of the Lido zone. The Jubilee and Excel class ships are separated into 6 zones. The ultimate playground is the first one that we saw. Serenity and Loft 19 don't really qualify under any of the zones, so this Lido area will be the second zone that we traverse. You see stairs take you up to deck 17. Next is a slew of food venues, starting with the Seafood Shack. This is an additional cost restaurant serving up New England style seafood. Seafood Shack is usually open for lunch on sea days and dinner on every day of your sailing. The next 3 venues are included in your cruise fare, starting with timed fries, serving up loaded fry recipes each day. For additional cost, this venue also does serve chicken wings. Steam Dream serves up things like bao buns and pot stickers, and Mad Sizzle typically does things like kebabs and satays. All 3 of these are what they call street eats. These are open for lunch every single day of your sailing, sometimes a little bit later if you're in a port day. You do have to come up to the actual venues to see what the menus are for each day, but there'll be something new every day of your sailing. Both edges of the Lido area will have tons of seating options to eat all of these foods at. We'll walk past the lone but large hot tub that anchors the pool here. See another set of stairs up for 17. And on this side, you have the familiar Blue Iguana Cantina, serving up burritos and tacos, both for breakfast and lunch. This, of course, is included in your cruise fare, and one of our favorites to always grab breakfast, whether it's tacos, arepas, or huevos rancheros. Whatever you get, you'll have dozens of salsas and toppings to add on top to make it just the way you like it. Either side of this area has drink stations with included drinks of water, tea, lemonade, standard juices. Of course, in the morning you can get regular or decaf coffee as well. We saw the top level of the Red Frog Tiki Bar earlier. Here is the larger bottom level. Of course, if you don't want to leave the comfort of your lounger, there are servers walking around to take your drink orders. In addition to that large hot tub and large swimming pool, you'll find all the fun and games happening here on the Lido deck. Group dances, dance competitions, and of course you can have a blast participating in all the deck parties, which include the Sail Away Party, Mega Deck Party, 80s Rock and Glow, White Hot Night Party, and the Lone Star Tailgate Party, exclusive to the Carnival Jubilee. If you didn't bring one from your stateroom, you can borrow a pool towel, or if your little one might need it, grab a life jacket off the rack. And around the corner, you'll see one of the entrances to the Lido Marketplace. This is going to be the buffet serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner throughout your cruise. Conveniently located at all entrances are hand washing stations. With so many food venues on the ship, we typically only visit the Lido Marketplace for breakfast, maybe a lunch, snack, or dessert. When you first enter, you'll see Excel class layouts for the buffet will be different. Here in the front on the starboard side, you'll see 2 large square counters, each with serving stations on either side for up to a max of 4 serving stations during peak times. Behind that, you'll find a drink station. On the opposite side of these serving stations, you'll find tabletop counters to sit at and another drink station. In this next corridor, you'll see where they have specialty food areas like the omelet stations. They usually have at least 4 omelet stations going on, so check around. Don't wait in a long line. The next station over might have a significantly shorter line. Also in this corridor are some cookies, small desserts, and the gelato station, where they rotate the flavors each day of your cruise. They usually have a pair of cakes you can grab a slice of at the gelato station as well. I must say, the options for your salad are just as good here as they are in Fresh Creation, so you don't have to go all the way up to Serenity just to get a really good salad. Back to the serving stations we saw at the start. You can see the actual seating space in this area is nice and spread out. The decor is bright and welcoming. You got a great combination of booths and tables of all different sizes and lots of window space to let that natural light in and get a great glimpse of the ocean or the port that you might be in. This corridor in the aft has a couple of specialized sections. One Sea Dogs with a menu of different types of hot dogs and brats. Another gelato station, repeating what we saw earlier, or the Middle Eastern style shawarma station where you can get a pita pocket filled with delicious chicken or beef, hummus, slaw, and your choice of sauce. Just like the serving stations we saw when we entered, these here in the caddy corner section will have all the same items, with them opening up more depending on demand and time of day. We'll exit out into the Tides pool area. We'll encounter yet another restaurant. This time you'll find Shack's Big Chicken. Here you can get fried chicken sandwiches and tenders. They'll serve with some absolutely tasty fries. Might I recommend this Shack Attack. In the mornings, they have a few breakfast items available here, including a cheese omelet station. You can jazz up your lunch selections with potato salad, jalapeno coleslaw, as well as a wide range of dipping sauces. Let's head further aft. You can see stairs up to deck 17 above. And this here is the Tides pool. You see there's 2 large whirlpools, and the actual Tides pool itself is not as big as the beach pool in the middle of the Lido deck. You could call it infinity style, however, it doesn't really look down upon anything. It does have that nice, large, shallow entry to kind of keep your feet cool or just lounge out and not get fully submersed into the water. We haven't really had a chance to talk about the general Carnival drink menu on this sailing. Every bar will be able to make these types of drinks that you see here. The Tides bar really isn't themed. It's going to be serving these main drinks. Just about every bar on the ship should be able to make anything from this general Carnival drink menu. This starboard aft corner has another swirl station for frozen yogurt or soft serve. So that is it for deck 16. Decks 15, 14, 12, 11, 10, and 9 are all passenger stateroom decks. There's no public areas except the ironing rooms. So I'm going to take you through one of those. So you'll find these ironing rooms on deck 14, 10, 9, 5, and 4. The Carnival Jubilee does not have self-service laundry. There is wash and fold service as well as dry cleaning service that you can arrange with your stateroom attendant for an additional fee. In the ironing rooms, typically you'll see 1 or 2 ironing boards with a plug and a timer. Timer goes for 15 minutes. Just remember to hit it again if you're ironing longer than that period, so you're not sitting there ironing away with no heat. There's a mirror, a couple of wall hooks to hang all of your garments from when they're done. And then, of course, a sink with a cup to fill the iron with more water in case it is empty. So the next deck with real public areas is going to be deck 8. Don't let the number of decks of the Carnival Jubilee intimidate you. Just remember the public areas are all 6, 7, 8, 16, 17, and 18. So the forward part of deck 8, as you can see from the map on the screen, is staterooms, and these are going to be the Havana staterooms. These staterooms include tropic themes and decor, with the non-interior staterooms having a cabana-like balcony, each including a swinging chair to lounge in. Havana staterooms get exclusive access to the Havana bar and pool lounge area outside on deck 8, so we'll go outside and take a look at that. After you board the ship, they'll issue a wristband that will allow you entry and exit to this space. Balcony Havana staterooms all share an exit out into the surrounding deck, as you can see here in front of us. Any guests staying in the Carnival Excel Presidential Suites, any guests lucky enough to be staying in the Carnival Excel Presidential Suites, I guess that is, do also get access to this outer Havana deck. As we pass it outside the Havana bar, we'll take a look at their menu. You can see they are one of the alternate locations besides Java Blue to serve specialty coffee. The inside of the Havana bar is open to all guests on the ship, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. If you've sailed on one of the Carnival Vista class ships before, such as the Carnival Vista out of Galveston, the Havana area was the entire aft of Deck 5, which allowed for not only a large pool, but 2 hot tubs. Here you just get this smaller pool. It is pretty neat that it's off to the side of the ship in true infinity style. However, here on the Excel class ships, you just have to go with a much smaller pool. Havana pool hours are from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. weather permitting. Through these doors will take us into that Havana lounge. Again, this Havana lounge, including the Havana bar inside area, is open to all guests of the cruise. You can see the decor is very fitting with that Cuban flair. There's exits on either side of the lounge. In the evenings here, they'll have a band or a DJ playing Latin music for everyone to dance to. During the day, this is one of the common places used for trivia and other functions. Multiple times throughout the trip, this place was reserved for private events, including a wedding during embarkation day. The salsa and Latin music in the evenings typically started at 8:30 or 9 o'clock and went all the way past midnight. Before we head further aft, we need to swing forward just a little bit, and we'll check out the Shebang Chinese and Mexican cuisine semi-specialty restaurant. More on why I'm calling it that in just a moment. Shebang's open for lunch on sea days and dinner every evening. It's a 2-in-1 dining concept featuring both Chinese and Mexican cuisines. So it's not a fusion restaurant. You pick from either side of the menu of what you want to have to eat. The sea day lunches from 12 to 2 are included in your cruise fare. The Chinese side of the lunch menu is very similar to Mongolian wok if you've dined there on Carnival ships before. I call this a semi-specialty restaurant because it actually does replace your normal main dining room, meaning outside of the Jubilee's inaugural season, the first time you dine here on your sailing, it's part of your included cruise fare. For the second time dining there on your sailing and beyond, it's an $8 charge per person. I'll talk about more about when that kicks in when the inaugural season ends a little bit later in the tour. The next up, we'll see the Dream Studio. For additional charge, the Pixel photography team will have a custom photo shoot with you and your family on the ship or even in port. So now we're finally ready to enter the next zone on the ship, and it's called Grand Central, which is Carnival's new take on their old atrium concept, combining day and night entertainment all in one area. Entering it here on Deck 8, you'll cross this beautiful glass bridge. To your right, you'll see the 2-story pixelated backdrop of the Grand View bar that we'll see down below on Deck 7. And to the opposite side, you see the main focus of the Grand Central area, the center stage. At daytime, you can get beautiful ocean and port views from the 3 stories of floor-to-ceiling windows, and at night, video boards transform the area into a multi-purpose stage for shows and entertainment. New ships always come with their kinks, and for the first couple of months of sailings, the screens were stuck in the position where you couldn't actually see out the windows. Engineers were working every evening while guests sleep to get them fixed. At the time of producing this video, the screens seemed to be fully functional as intended. I'll have more on center stage on Deck 7 and 6 below. Those stairs there will take you down to Deck 7 and the casino area. This area here has a lot of lounge seating. It's not the best for watching any of the shows that take place over at center stage. More on that in just a moment. The next venues we'll encounter are a pair of restaurants, the Bonsai Teppanyaki and Bonsai Sushi restaurants. These are both additional cost restaurants. Both are open for lunch on port days and every evening at dinner, with Bonsai Sushi staying open till midnight. A lot of people forget that it's open late. Highly recommend you book your lunch or dinner reservation for Bonsai Teppanyaki before you're sailing. You can do so in your planner on Carnival. As we exit, you see these stairs take you actually down to some stadium-style seating for center stage. We'll look at that in more detail on Deck 7. Let's go ahead and enter Bonsai Sushi, probably one of my favorite restaurants on any Carnival ship, with an amazing menu that doesn't break the bank. And tucked away in the corner, if you've got great weather, maybe a great port view or a beautiful sunset, ask to sit outside. There's some amazing views to be had out on this tiny little area here at Bonsai Sushi. I will say it seems every year, maybe even at a quicker frequency than that, Carnival keeps raising the prices of the menu items here. It's still worth it in my opinion, and that makes this a perfect time to mention that all the menus that I've assembled in this video here are all from early 2024 when we took our Carnival Jubilee sailing. Our particular sailing took place during the Super Bowl, during Mardi Gras, and Valentine's Day. If you want to see all the fun we had during those events, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Nog Vlog and join our virtual family. You're always welcome to come take a trip with us. Back to the tour, we're going to head back out to some of the fun shops. You just saw Front Street Watches, and it's connected into the FE Jewelry store as well. If you're looking to buy an expensive watch or fine jewelry, definitely visit one of these shops because your purchases will be duty-free, and they typically have some specials, deals, even raffles going on throughout the sailing. But for now, we'll go take another look at the center stage area. Really isn't conducive to enjoying whatever's going on down on center stage. Being this high just doesn't quite do justice for the shows, in my opinion. Here's a clip we caught of some of the aerialists rehearsing for some of their amazing center stage shows. Our personal preference and our recommendation is to try to get a seat down on deck 6. We'll talk more about that when we tour this area for that deck. Cutting left, you'll see the Pixels photo gallery. All across the ship, Pixels photographers will set up backdrops for you and your family to take photos. There's no cost to having the photos taken. They do a wonderful job putting you in the best light. Simply purchase only the ones you want or none at all. You could do digital downloads, prints, or both. Use your planner on carnival.com beforehand to get a discount if you know you're going to buy at least 5 or more physical photo prints. In front of us is the midship elevator bank and stairwells, as well as an exit only for Cucina del Capitano, a restaurant we're about to take a look at. It's one of the many venues located here in the Shores Zone. Welcoming you into the Shores Zone is this beautiful vintage 1942 Chris Craft boat set against a backdrop of Galveston's Pleasure Pier at sunset. To the left, you'll find the nautical themed Marina Bar. It has its own drink menu. It's also another Java Blue alternative for specialty coffee. While there is additional lounge seating in this space, there's no live music playing in this spot. The Marina Bar extends to the outside. We'll tour the entire outer lanai space of Deck 8 in just a moment. And around the corner, we'll find Cucina del Capitano. Known for being a specialty restaurant on other Carnival ships, here on the Jubilee, this is one of those main dining room alternative options that you can eat dinner at as part of your included fare. Assuming you're watching this and the inaugural season has ended, any subsequent visits on your sailing would be an additional $8 per guest. From 12 to 2 on sea days, they do serve included lunch. For both Cucina del Capitano and Shebang, you'll use the Hub app on your phone each evening to make a desired reservation. If you have your time dining, you can check in as early as 5:30. If you have set time dining, no matter whether it's early or late, you can't check in until 7:30 p.m., so know that caveat. You'll see the boardwalk theme is prominent in the next 2 venues. First up is Coastal Slice. You'll see a few familiar favorites, and then 2 new ones exclusive for the Jubilee, the barbecue chicken and the Tex-Mex pizzas. Both were sadly disappointing. Why they didn't put barbecue sauce on the barbecue chicken pizza, I do not know, but hopefully that's a change they make in the future. Coastal Slice is open from 9 a.m. in the morning all the way until 4 a.m. the following morning. There's seating across the way and a drink station as well. Right next door, you'll find Beach Buns. This is replacing the typical deli that you would find on classic Carnival ships. Again, you'll find many of your favorites, plus a few new ones. We tried the beef and cheese and the barbecue pulled pork, and just like Coastal Slice, we were unfortunately let down. Beach Buns will be open every day of your sailing from noon to 10 p.m. Those doors will take you outside, but we're not quite yet ready to go out there. Instead, let's take a look at this 3-story fish sculpture, keeping with the ocean themed. This spiral staircase goes down all the way to 7 and then deck 6 below. I will say pictures don't quite do this justice. You really have to see it in person, especially with the mirrored backdrop. It gives it a little bit more of a deeper dimension and movement aspect as you walk by. Opposite of the top of those stairs is Rudy's Sea Grill. This is a full-on specialty restaurant, so you can reserve this before you're sailing on your planner on carnival.com. This restaurant showcases culinary artist Rudy Sodeman's plates with personalities, where many of the dishes can be tasty as well as entertaining as they're presented with a playful food face that, of course, are social media worthy. We haven't dined here, but heard wonderful things, so go ahead and give Rudy's Sea Grill a try if you're looking for that next level seafood experience. Heading further aft, we enter Carnival Adventures. This is the shore excursion desk. You can browse and book on your own or work with one of the staff to provide the best excursion for you and your family. If you have a question about something you already have booked, the staff are helpful there as well. Across the way, you'll find an ATM and a self-service kiosk. We'll talk more about the self-service kiosk down below on deck 6. As we head further aft, you enter the guest services area. Here with this design, the waiting queue is actually splitting the walkway. Kind of makes for a weird experience walking through here. You could still head further aft by going through the elevator bank and stairwell. Strangely enough, on all of Carnival's Excel class deck plans, they show that this area is actually blocked off. But you can obviously see you could walk through here. As we head further aft, we'll actually see the large vats used to brew the Parched Pig craft beers served on tap. For $30 a person, you could do a brewery tour on any sea day of your sailing. Here's another look back at the guest services area. They do have a queue specific for Platinum and Diamond members. No matter which way you go, you'll be entering the next zone on the ship, Summer Landing, which is small in size, but tons of activities going on back here. The first thing we come across is the Carnival Store. The Carnival Store on this ship is small. While there are some newer items that we haven't seen before on other ships, And while they do have some items that specifically say Jubilee, the overall selection of those items felt lacking. And they have that big Texas star on the front of the Carnival Jubilee, but nothing in this store shows or says the state of Texas. So that was a disappointment. These shirts here are as close as it gets, but they're really just American and Western themed, and way too many gray options. No one looks good in a gray t-shirt. Come on, Carnival. Next up is the Heroes Tribute Lounge. You can see this is a casual venue with sports on the TV, comfy seats. It does have its own menu. Most importantly, the walls are lined with memorabilia, recognizing and honoring our armed service personnel and their families. If you or someone in your family served, do yourself a favor and come browse what they have displayed. And of course, thank you for your service. And don't forget your Swirls ice cream or soft serve from the military-themed Swirls station. Let's cut across and check out Guy's Pick and Anger Barbecue Smokehouse Brewhouse. This venue serves included barbecue lunches on sea days and a more robust dinner barbecue menu at night that I'll talk more about when we head outside. The bar features those parched pig brewed on board beers, great cocktails, including a vegetable-infused Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary. You can go ahead and hog size it for this souvenir glass. In the corner, you'll find a drink station that actually includes an automated espresso machine. A lot of people don't know about that tucked back in this corner, so do yourself a favor and grab one of those in the morning. You might be here because they have a small breakfast buffet down here, meaning if your stateroom's nearby, you don't have to go all the way up to the Lido deck to enjoy a buffet breakfast. At night from 11:30 to 1 a.m., they turn this into the late night snacks buffet for yet another additional after hours dining option. In a corner of this venue is a stage and a small dance floor where the backyard band will play a variety of music nearly every evening of the cruise. We'll head outside finally to this lanai area that surrounds the entirety of this middle and aft portion of deck 8. Taking the right, you'll see the actual serving area for Guy's Pick and Anchor Smokehouse Outdoor. This is included, again, no charge, 12 to 2:30 every sea day of your cruise. The Guy's Pick and Anchor Smokehouse Brewhouse dinner menu is active every evening of your cruise. That's a true sit-down, waiter-waitress takes your order style restaurant. You won't check into that on your hub app. You just visit the host stand to either get a table or a pager for the next table. You can see lots of outdoor seating for Guy's Smokehouse Brewhouse, and just beyond that, the outdoor dining of Rudy's Sea Grill. Here you can see some loungers. This is a very low-key spot. A lot of people don't come out this way, so you can find some really quiet areas. Here you see some outdoor seating available for Cucina del Capitano. Again, all this outdoor seating is pending weather, of course. And right around this corner, you might find one of the coolest spots on the ship. A lot of people don't know you can get all the way back here, and there's some nice comfy chairs to sit over here and just really enjoy some you time away from all the hustle and bustle elsewhere on the ship. There's a gentleman actually on his laptop that did know about this spot, but I chose not to film him. We'll turn back around. We'll use this time to take a look at the drink menu for Guy's Smokehouse Brewhouse. One last thing about this restaurant, this should always be part of your included cruise fare. It's a replacement for the main dining room for that evening. You won't be charged the additional $8 per person if you visit here a second time or more. Carnival won't officially announce when the inaugural season will end for the Jubilee, but when it does, only Shebang and Cucina, not Guy's Pick and Anchor, should result in the $8 per person charge if you dine there a second time or more on your sailing. Saw a shuffleboard and a couple foosball tables as well as the restrooms for this area. Again, just making it a fun, family-friendly place to hang out here in the lower aft part of the ship. We'll head outside to the patio, which includes the patio pool. A little bit larger infinity-style pool. Definitely bigger than the other aft pool, the Tides pool up on 16. When you walk around the outside, you see a lot of wide, comfy seating to hang out in. Around the corner is, of course, where Guy's Pick and Anchor Outdoor is. The patio pool definitely has that wider, shallow area to keep your feet cool. They have these cool white loungers you can sit in. You look up, you can see all the aft-facing balcony staterooms that have a view down below. Standard hours for the patio pool are 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. The beach pool and the Tides pool back up on the Lido deck are open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Times are always subject to change based off of weather conditions and any events going on, of course. And don't worry, there is a pair of whirlpools just tucked here around the corner on the starboard side of the patio. These doors will take you back to the indoors of Summer Landing. And right outside here, you've got yet another bar. This one's called the Watering Hole. Open on the sea days and every evening. The smaller bar's menu is highlighted by refreshing summer-inspired drinks. The Watermelon Crush is very popular and rightfully so. It's absolutely tasty. Definitely try to visit the Watering Hole when it's open to sample one of those. As we continue forward on the starboard side of the ship, you'll see some more loungers and you'll actually see a couple sets of cornhole boards. The times vary, but at least once every sea day, they'll have a beanbag toss tournament. I had to sneak by that one. The next area we'll approach here on the lanai is the outdoor seating for beach buns and coastal slice. Continuing past that, you'll see an entrance that'll take you to where the Marina Bar was. And you'll see here the Marina Bar does have an outdoor section Just beyond that is where the second and final designated smoking section is for the ship. If you haven't already booked and thinking about doing a balcony on deck 9, maybe even 10 above this area, you will likely smell that smoke as that heat rises. So keep that in mind. We'll pass all of that. You'll see those beautiful curved windows of Grand Central. Really enjoy this outer lanai area of deck 8 in the evenings. You can grab a pre-dinner drink, step outside, and take in one of those beautiful ocean sunsets. But that is it for deck 8, so we're going to start now on deck 7. And the first thing we'll see on deck 7 is actually comprised of both deck 7 and 6, and that's the Jubilee Theater. Separate from the center stage in Grand Central, the Jubilee Theater will host its own set of shows and functions. You can see the seating in the back is probably not the best, but otherwise, once you get to about this point, everything in front of you is going to have a nice view. In this theater, the cruise director will host things like the Love and Marriage Show, all the informative presentations. They'll have late night comedy showcases. As of early 2024, exclusive for the Jubilee is the show Dear Future Husband, and other Carnival favorites like Celestial Strings and Soulbound. I could see Celestial Strings moving back out to center stage, where it was originally intended, but they had to move it into this theater on these early sailings due to the screens of center stage being fixated and not being able to move. The seats in here are fairly comfy, and they do come with drink holders, but there is no bar service in here, so you do need to get your drink from the bars outside on deck 6 or 7. So that definitely is a downside for the Jubilee Theater. We'll head further aft. You see there's restrooms on both sides of the exits of the Jubilee Theater here on deck 7. And as you walk into the Jubilee Casino, we'll enter this port side. You'll see the cashier cage is located here. All of this section is non-smoking, and this is just slot machines. You'll see the casino bar here at the apex up in front of you. We'll come back this way in just a moment. As you curve left, still more machines, but now we enter the smoking area of the casino. Just this forward starboard side is the smoking area. So they do have their own table games here in the smoking area. You do have to be sitting at either a table or a machine to be able to smoke. You see they've got blackjack, fun 21, 3-card poker, and 1 roulette table here for the smoking side. Anytime the ship is out at sea, not in port, the casino will be open. For your port stop of Mahogany Bay, the casino can and will open there, but not till the afternoon. But you could still be in port and play in the casino in Mahogany Bay. You can head further out to see the other entrance to the Jubilee Theater. We'll see the non-smoking table games in just a moment. We'll scoot back and continue on out these doors. They do a pretty good job of holding in the smoke smell from this side of the casino. But out here we'll encounter the Grand View Bar. This might be one of the bars you sneak out to grab a drink for maybe a show at the Jubilee Theater. Or you can grab a drink here if there's a show going on right behind you on center stage. Of course, that glass walkway on deck 8 is above us. Here there is probably some of the best stadium seats that you can get for a center stage show. Make sure you come early if you want to grab one of these before one of the big productions. You likely need to arrive at least 30 minutes before whatever first events are happening to grab one of these seats. This area, it gets really crowded on boarding day. You'll see stairs down to 6 below. Through those doors is part of the non-smoking casino. People board right below us. They want to avoid the elevators, so naturally they take the first stairs they see. Doesn't really take them anywhere they need to go. So we'll spin around, we'll head back towards that casino bar and tour the rest of the non-smoking casino. Everyone wave to Brandy, looking absolutely stunning at the casino bar. As long as you're at sea, all slot machines are open. Table games on sea days were usually open from 10 a.m. to 3 a.m., with the casino bar typically matching those hours. You'll see the Players Club desk in case you need to stop and visit with them. You'll see stairs through these doors that take you up to deck 8, and just behind that were the doors where we paused and spun back around a little bit earlier. Out here in this section of the casino, you'll see many more table games. 6 to 5 blackjack with a $6 minimum. They do open up some $25 tables that pay 3 to 2. Sadly, just one craps table. For a ship of sometimes over 6,000 people, to have one table is absolutely criminal. If you happen to get a spot, $10 minimums and 2 times max odds on your pass line bets. If you want to get as far away from the smoking casino as possible, they do have some machines out here as well. A healthy number of roulette tables in the corner here. Through those doors, we'll take you out to the other side of Grand Central, but we're not going to go there just yet. We're going to cut through this back small section here where they toss in just a few more machines. Can't quite see, but you can look down to the Golden Mermaid bar down below. We'll see that on deck 6 in a moment. Through this back exit of the casino, you'll actually encounter the Limelight Lounge. Deck 7, unfortunately, is just not conducive for an uninterrupted walking tour. So we're going to pause here. We're going to head back out to that busy area, but we're on a different day of the cruise, so we can navigate it a little bit more easy. Again, if you wanted to use the stairs up here, you could go back up to that Bonsai Sushi, Bonsai Teppanyaki area. These stairs will take you down to deck 6. Turning around, you see the Grand View Bar that we walked past just a little bit earlier. This time we're actually going to head back behind the engineer's booth. You can see how narrow it is. They just had to fit these extra few machines in and make this the tiniest pathway ever. To the right, you'll see the larger stadium seating. Again, I strongly recommend don't try to sit in one of these seats if you can avoid it for the shows that are on center stage. If you're up against the glass, it's not that bad, but down below on deck 6, you'll see those are the spots you should strive for when catching one of the larger shows here. We'll show you those spots when we're on deck 6. And here you see stairs that take you down to deck 6. You can see the doors to the casino that were adjacent to the roulette tables. While the Carnival store didn't have anything for us proud Texans to take away as a souvenir, you can snap a photo on this large love seat with the Texas Lone Star here at the top. Glancing left, you see the midship elevators and stairs, and here are some more of those fun shops. Starting with Island Traders, from apparel, sunglasses, watches, and accessories. Stop here if you want to find something to have fun in the sun and look good while you're doing it. Next to Island Traders, you'll find the Portside Liquor and Tobacco Store. This is your duty-free shop for all of your liquor and tobacco needs. Anything you buy in this store during your sailing, they'll hold for you. They'll deliver it sealed to your stateroom the last evening, meaning you're not allowed to consume anything you buy from the tobacco store here on the ship. They'll rotate the kiosks and carts out here throughout the sailing depending on what sales and events they've got going on. Peek around the corner to the left here, you'll see a set of restrooms. If we spin around, we'll pass the midship elevator and stairs. So now that we've covered everything back behind us, we can go ahead and go into the Limelight Lounge. This multi-purpose room will serve for a few functions. First off, during the day, you'll find trivia taking place here. In the late afternoons and evenings, this turns into the PG Show Comedy Lounge. Here, they just have one comedian that does all PG shows all night long, no matter the time. And we'll see down on the deck below, the Punchliner Comedy Club will be the host of all the R-rated comedy shows with a different comic. But that allows you to attend an R-rated show maybe a little bit earlier in the evening versus having to wait till the very end. A great feature about this larger ship class now servicing Galveston. In the late evenings, they'll clear out the chairs and turn it into the dance club. There is a bar and drink service available for those comedy shows as well as the nightclub. The entrance we came in is that main entrance. There is an exit just to the side of the stage that they open up for when shows and events are over, just to help control traffic and reduce the flow. Just to keep the flow organized, we'll go back to where we split off to enter the Limelight Lounge. Instead, cut back, take the normal path further aft, and here we'll approach the Alchemy Bar. Before we talk about it, if you actually turn to the left, there's another smaller glass walkway. It takes you down to a second set of beautiful spiral stairs. Now, these only go between 6 and 7. This is another popular spot for photos in the evening, both people with their cell phones as well as actual pixel photographers. We'll get a sneak preview down below, but what that means is we are actually entering the final zone on this ship, Currents. Here on deck 7, though, you'll see another familiar Carnival favorite, the Alchemy Bar. And because this is an Excel class ship, the Alchemy Bar is a plus size venue. You can see just how big this bar top is. They finally got rid of those terrible static spinny chairs, so you can sit at the bar and enjoy watching your mixologist make your favorite drinks. Mine being the potent Alchemist sidecar, and Brandy's being the delightful Martini Seduction. If the bar's full or you just want to enjoy a little bit more of the atmosphere elsewhere, you'll find plenty of seating further aft and beyond the bar. And true to the theme of the Currents zone, you actually have access to control what's on the digital submarine style windows that frame and entertain both decks 7 and 6 in this space. All throughout the cruise, they'll rotate what type of things are being displayed on these windows/video boards, even allowing you or your kids to create fish that swim up and down the side of the ship. Definitely check your hub app for when things are taking place here. They're not just for kids. There's some really awesome surprises in store involving these screens and the ceiling here at the Current Zone. Continuing aft, we'll approach the Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse and the Steakhouse Bar. Anybody can sit and enjoy a drink from the Steakhouse Bar, and they have some very great drinks as well as some liquors and spirits that you can't find anywhere else on the ship. To the left, you'll see that 3-story spiral staircase. We'll go ahead and check out the Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse. They have this unique upfront room here where that larger parties get to sit at. Otherwise, if you haven't already made your reservation on your planner on carnival.com before you're sailing, you can see if there's a spot still open here at the host desk or in your hub app. If you have a reservation, they'll take you back here into the dining room. You and your party can enjoy an exquisite 5-star meal. Just past the steakhouse, you'll find the art gallery. Not so much a gallery as it is a holding space for many of the prints that they scatter across the ship and move around to promote the different art auctions that take place during the sailing. Like many other ships in the Carnival fleet, the gallery partners with Park West for their artwork. Now we approach the very aft of Deck 7, and that's going to be encompassed with the upper deck of the Pacific restaurant. Around that corner is just your aft elevator bank and stairwell. There's nothing else to access over there outside of a restroom. Deck 7, the upper deck of the Pacific restaurant, is where you'll have your time dining. The bottom level on deck 6, as well as the Atlantic restaurant in the midship of deck 6, will be where you have set time dining. You'll request a table using the Hub app on your phone each evening. They'll notify you when your table's ready. A hostess will greet you at this entrance, and they'll take you back to your table. Scrolling on your screen are the menus for the main dining room in order days 1 through 7 on a standard sailing. Hopefully you find that advantageous to decide which nights you might want to reserve something pre-sailing or once on board. Always subject to change, your elegant dinner nights will be night 2 and night 6, with night 6 being the lobster tail night. All food in the main dining room is included in your cruise fare unless otherwise indicated on the menu. You can get more than one entree, but if you want a third or more, you'll be charged $5 for each subsequent entree. The Pacific restaurant is also used for morning port day breakfasts and sea day brunches, and I'll have those menus to share on the screen when we tour it on deck 6 below. We'll start deck 6 in the forward elevator bank area. On the starboard side, you'll see the entrance to the Cloud 9 Spa. However, it's just the reservation desk here on deck 6. The rest is on deck 5. We'll see that below on the next deck. Opposite of that spa entrance is the Cloud 9 Fitness Center, open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day of your cruise. You can come in here and use any of the mini life fitness exercise machines that are available to you. There are free weights as well. See, this whole front row here is just ellipticals. This back row here will give you plenty of options for treadmills. And at the end of this back row, you'll see some additional miscellaneous equipment. And up this ramp, you'll see 2 fitness studios. While access to the fitness center is included in your cruise fare, there is an additional charge if you want to attend any of the scheduled fitness classes, which include cycling, yoga, and Pilates. If you want to use the locker room to change beforehand or change or shower after your workout, you do have to go down to deck 5 where that's located in the Cloud 9 Spa. We'll see that on the next deck. This door here is a back exit to the Punchliner Comedy Club that we'll see just a little further in the tour. It's used as an additional exit after shows are done to help control traffic. As I mentioned, since it's just the reservation desk here on deck 6, we won't go into the spa just yet. We'll save that all for deck 5. Hidden around this corner here, you'll see the only entrance for deck 6 to the Jubilee Theater. We already saw and talked about it above, but we'll take you all the way down this path so you can see what this ADA accessible entrance looks like. If you're arriving late to the show, try to come in through the back doors on deck 7 above rather than here on deck 6 in the front. That way you're not distracting your fellow passengers that arrived on time, since this funnels you out right in front of the stage. So we'll exit out of the Jubilee Theater, and let's talk elevators. One nice thing about these elevators is all the banks have these monitors that will show what's going on the ship, as well as in the evening show the wait time for all the restaurants aboard the ship. You might notice that the elevators are smaller than other ship classes, but there's more of them. Just remember, help your fellow Jubilee passengers out, don't cut in line for the elevators, and try to be thoughtful and considerate to guests who just don't have the ability to use the stairs. You'll see lots of photos being taken here by this mural by both passengers and pixel photographers alike. But before we go too far, we'll go inside that Punchliner Comedy Club that we mentioned earlier. And this will be where all the R-rated shows are each evening. Sometimes there's up to 4 shows in here. You might find some other events on the schedule in here. Art auctions, private events, and crew events are in here. There is not a bar, but there is drink service here in the Punchliner Comedy Club. As we head out, we'll head to the left, which is the starboard side of the ship. You'll see one of 2 sets of doors on either side of the center stage area that you'll use to embark and disembark while in Galveston. If you're planning to get one of the floor seats for a center stage show or performance, we highly recommend you arrive about 30 to 45 minutes before the ropes drop time. Grab a drink, hang out and wait. It's definitely gonna be worth it for the best seat in the house for those shows. We'll talk more about the entertainment on center stage when we loop around. Heading to the port side of the front side of this deck 6, you'll find the Piano Bar 88. This was open 6 out of the 7 nights on our sailing, each night starting at 9 p.m. with an hour-long session that was open to anybody, and then from 10 p.m. until late, the venue was 18 plus. There is a bar in here, there is drink service. Our piano bar entertainer, Ben, was not our favorite. He's more of a chit-chatter and a jokester. A lot of people were still having fun with him. He may not be for everybody, and piano bar entertainers do rotate the ships. Stop in, give it a try, see if you like it. If not, as you've seen, there's plenty of other things to do across the ship. We'll continue aft, and if these stairs look familiar, they're the ones that take you back up to the casino on deck 7. To our right, you'll see the Java Blue Cafe. The counter on the right is where you want to go for the food items, with included breakfast items, as well as all-day small snacks and additional cost desserts and pastries. Specialty coffees will be the left side of the counter. We'll see that in just a moment. Here to the right is a drink station. Spinning around, you'll see more of the seating areas for the Grand Central Atrium. To the left, you'll find the center stage bar, just the standard Carnival bar menu here. But this is a good time to talk about embarkation day when you're sailing out of Galveston. Carnival limits the brands of spirits that they use to make their drinks until you exit Texas waters. Bars that are open during that time will use this Big Texas Welcome menu. Back to this area just left of center stage. This is where we recommend you wait if you want good floor seats for some of the awesome shows. which on boarding day is Meet the Cruise Director and Residency. Later in the sailing, you'll have Rio, who could be rotating variety and specialty entertainers. We had a magician on our cruise. This will also be where the audience participation games take place, like Bingo, Family Feud Live, and Deal or No Deal. Also, if you're cruising during a holiday, they might have a specialty event going on here, or if there's adverse weather conditions, Lido deck parties might be moved here to center stage. We'll go back and look at the left side of the Java Blue Cafe. This, of course, is where you'll get your specialty coffees. You can also get milkshakes here, both for an additional fee. Be aware, a lot of people only go to this venue for these specialty coffees. You can go up to the Havana Bar on deck 8, the Marina Bar on deck 7, get those same specialty coffees and not have to wait in a long line like this one. Just next to the Java Blue Cafe, you'll find the Cherry on Top candy store. You might agree it's very small for this size of ship. You can purchase things for special occasions here, like flowers and last minute gifts. Unlike the Carnival Vista class of ships, there's no ice cream served here on the Carnival Jubilee. Here you see the going by the pound rate for the candy. As you turn around, you'll see another self-service kiosk. That's where you can check your balance, add cash, add a gift card without having to visit or wait in line at guest services. You'll see a back entrance into the Golden Mermaid Bar. We won't go in there just yet. Here you see the midship elevator bank and stairwells. And as I mentioned, each side of center stage here on deck 6 is where passengers will embark and disembark. If you don't have an early embarkation time, this area could get really busy as the day goes on. But since you are smart, watch this Nog ship tour. You'll know exactly how to avoid this crowded area and get to where you want to go when you first board the ship. Be sure to check out our video from Embarkation Day from the Carnival Jubilee, where we'll go over all of our tips, hints, and tricks that we've learned through all of our Carnival sailings, so you can maximize your fun on the short but very important first day of your cruise. As we head further aft, we'll see the last of the fun shops, starting with Hip Fish Beauty and Fragrances. Across from that, we'll peek into the Hip Fish accessory store. Open hours for all the fun shops on the ship will be 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. on sea days, and from sail away until 11 p.m. on port days. We'll turn around and take a look at that beautiful forwardmost glass staircase that we saw from above a little bit earlier, which means we'll officially be entering the current zone for here on deck 6. Across from that is the final Hip Fish fun shop, this one obviously for designer handbags. Carnival Cruise Line has an amazing and charitable partnership with St. Jude's Children's Hospital. The sculpture you see here was actually inspired from artwork from one of the St. Jude kids, Ty, and if it looks familiar, we actually passed that actual artwork up on deck 8 in that back entrance to Summer Landing. Before we head further aft, there's a few things to check out here on the port side of the ship. If you love to play dominoes, cards, any type of games on your cruise, these booths are perfect for that. We'll walk through the Atlantic dining room on our way back. The length of this back wall is decked out with this whimsical under the sea mural. First, we're going to check out what ended up being our favorite bar on the entire ship, the Golden Mermaid. This was our favorite because of the design and atmosphere, the presentation of the drinks, and the actual taste of the drinks themselves. You have this huge, beautiful chandelier as the centerpiece, mimicking sunlight streaming through the waves down below into the ocean. Then, of course, the drinks themselves are inspired by precious metals and gemstones that you might find in a treasure chest down below the sea. Again, all of the theming tied together perfectly. If you don't want to sit at the bar to enjoy watching them make the drink in front of you, you can sit at the lounge and enjoy live music. We found ourselves coming back here over and over again, and it seemed like every drink we tried kept topping the last one as being our favorite from the sailing. Oh, what luck, I found a duck on top of this 1/100th scale ship model of the Carnival Jubilee. Very awesome to walk around and look at. Be sure to bring your kids to stop by and check this out. Going out through these exits will take you back out to Grand Central, where we were just a bit earlier. Here's a look at the other side of that mural with a sneak peek at Dr. Inks. We'll see her in just a moment. We'll scoot back the way we came and enter the Atlantic restaurant, featuring all the same included main dining room menus we saw earlier. This is where you also may be assigned your set time dining. Otherwise, if you can't tell by the theming as we walk through here, this is where you'll find Thing 1 and Thing 2 birthday breakfast, which is a small additional charge, but absolutely a blast for the kiddos. And on sea days at 3 p.m., you can also come in here and enjoy tea time. We'll head back out to the main foyer of the current zone on deck 6, and we'll approach the other specialty bar, Dr. Inks, PhD. The menu here is definitely more on the adventurous and playful side with layered flavors, color-changing ingredients. Many of the drinks have some really unique garnishes like Swedish fish candy, boba pearls, sea foam. The most popular drink being the Ocean Bubble, where you get to make a wish as you pop the bubble, or the Coral Beauty, where Dr. Inks can put her ink stamp right on top of your drink. There's also a small stage here. On our particular setting, we loved Sky Breeze, the violin trio. They had a wide range of genres of music that they would play. During peak times, the bar gets really full. These corner seats are often left open, but you can't really see the bartenders make the drink, and that's half the fun. When the screens above aren't in use for a special presentation, often you'll find them showing Dr. Inks hard at work in her laboratory coming up with her next concoction. Check your hub app for all the fun things that are happening with these screens, or anytime you're in the area, just take a glance and see what might be displayed in the windows and on the ceiling above. Next up, we'll find Emerald's Bistro 717, featuring New Orleans-inspired dishes from Carnival's chief culinary officer and world-renowned chef Emerald Lagasse. You eating here for breakfast and dinner each night of your sailing. It's also open for lunch on your sea days. Order at the counter, find your own table right across the way, and they'll bring your food out to you when it's ready. Pound for pound, the breakfast po' boy that we had that morning, it's probably one of the most tasty things we had on the entire sailing. Just past that, you'll see this really awesome interactive screen. You could touch it, find all the ships in the Carnival fleet. It'll show you where they are in all of their current itineraries, as well as facts about all the nations that represent all of the wonderful Carnival crew across all their ships. To the left, you'll see the very bottom of that aft 3-story spiral glass staircase, and right across from that, you'll find the Carnival kitchen. This will serve as a venue for guests to participate in cooking classes hosted by the ship's highly trained chefs. These are additional costs per person, and you can reserve the spot on your cruise planner on carnival.com before you're sailing. Before we look at the Pacific restaurant on deck 6, we'll take a quick peek at the aft elevator bank and stairwells. Scrolling on your screen is the official main dining room cocktail and wine list, in case you're interested to see what they have to offer there. Here on the entrance to the Pacific restaurant on deck 6, there is a conference room. I imagine this is used for luncheons for crew and officers, although I'm sure guest private functions could possibly be reserved here. Deck 6 of the Pacific restaurant is where you'll have sea day brunch and port day breakfast. Both are included as part of your cruise fare, and they both require you to check in on your hub app the morning of service to reserve your table. Officially, deck 6 of the Pacific restaurant is for set time dining, but there's a chance based on demand some your time dining might be reserved down here as well. If you have any questions or concerns or want to try to make adjustments to your dinner reservations, visit the maitre d' on embarkation day. They usually have a set 1 or 2 hours where they'll be available. So technically we're done with deck 6. We're going to head back to the forward part of the ship, and we're going to tour the Cloud9 spa facilities. And as I said, most of that is on deck 5. So for the briefest of moments, we'll stay on deck 6 and pretend we're coming into the spa through that entrance. You'll see a set of stairs as well as an elevator that will take you down from 6 to 5 and the true start of all the spa facilities. This is the door that takes you to all the deck 5 spa staterooms. First facility we'll see is the Cloud9 Salon. This is where you go for hairstyling, teeth whitening, manicures, pedicures, lots of options to have you looking your best for elegant night. Just beyond that, we'll encounter the relaxation room. You can enjoy a hot tea or sparkling water while you wait for your upcoming treatment. Next, we'll do a quick pan of one of the larger detox treatment rooms. And from here, we'll take a look at the Jubilee Thermal Suite, which unfortunately is a little bit lacking. There's no hydrotherapy pool, just one large hot tub that only has 2 jets, and it's not very warm. While there are heated loungers that surround the hot tub spa, we wish they would have been warmer, and we wish there would have been more of them for this size of ship. There's no Laconium or Tepidarium, just the Himalayan salt infrared heat chamber. There is a very pleasant aroma steam room, as well as a standard steam room, and they do have aroma rain showers, which are nice to rinse off with. If you booked a spa cabin, you have access to all these amenities every day of your sailing, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Otherwise, you do need to buy a day pass, a couple's day pass, or a 7-day pass in order to use these facilities. Exiting back out where we entered the thermal suite, this door to the right will actually take you into a hallway that accesses both the men's and women's locker room. And at the end of that hallway is a shared sauna. You don't need a spa cabin or a thermal suite pass to be able to use this sauna or the men and women's locker rooms. Here's a quick shot of what the men's locker room looked like. Having a spa cabin just around the corner, I never had to use it. However, I get the sense the same thing applies. It's fairly small for this size of ship. Heading to the aft of deck 5, you'll see the dining space for the chef's table. For a small price of $150, you can enjoy a multi-course dinner hosted by the master executive chef of the Jubilee. This VIP experience includes a private cocktail reception to start and concludes with that full service dinner where you get to observe the chef prepare, plate, and present their exquisite dishes that you won't find on the regular dining menus. Next up is deck 4, but we're not heading to the forward part of the ship, but we're going to head to the midship elevators and stairs because that's where you'll find the entrance to Camp Ocean, the kids club for ages 11 and under. When attending Camp Ocean, kids are further divided into age groups, the youngest being turtles, that's age 6 months to 1 year. The room we're in now is for the penguins, this is ages 2 to 5. Turtles technically doesn't have their own space here. Depending on sea day versus port day, there might be additional charge to check them in. Be sure to check with the U staff for more details when you board the ship if you have kids in the turtles category. Above that, ages 6, 7, and 8 will be the stingrays. They'll have access to this large room that we're in now. You can see they have tons of activities for them to do all across the sailing. A lot of times there'll be themes based off of any holidays going on, the ports that you're visiting, tons of activities to keep them entertained while you enjoy some of the more grown-up areas of the ship. The oldest age for Camp Ocean is the sharks, and that's going to be 9, 10, and 11. While separated from the stingrays, they do share this space, rotating which specific areas they have access to, including this cool partnership with the Kennedy Space Center, as well as next door where they have the TV and game room. This entire game room spared no expense, with each TV having a PlayStation 5 console available. Adjacent to Camp Ocean, you'll find Dr. Seuss Bookville, which allows guests to read some of the many Dr. Seuss books books available, and even some Dr. Seuss puzzles and board games to play with as well. While we take a look at the Dr. Seuss bookville, I'll do an overview of the Camp Ocean hours. It's hard to go into full detail because they vary so much. On sea days, they usually have 3 separate sessions with breaks for lunch and just before dinner. On port days, they're usually open for the entire port stop in case you as parents want to go on an excursion that might not be suitable or tailored for kids to go on. They have a Night Owls program where each night of the cruise, your kids can stay past the normal close time of 10 p.m. all the way up until 1 a.m. for an additional charge per hour. There's one more public space here on deck 4, and that's the Family Harbor Lounge. And what better time than now than to show you the menus for room service breakfast as well as room service leisure dining. Now, the Family Harbor Lounge is available to guests staying in a Family Harbor stateroom. The lounge is open 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. using your Sail and Sign card. There's a selection of board games, video games, and family movies to watch. Each morning there will be a continental breakfast buffet. Later in the day they'll put out an afternoon snack, and in the evenings they'll have cookies and milk available for Family Harbor stateroom guests. One last deck to go, deck 3, and all we really have on deck 3 are the gangways that you'll use in all the ports you visit, as well as the medical center. This first gangway here is in the forward part of the ship. There's not much to it. Take the elevators or stairs down to deck 3, and you'll pass through the security area, scan your card to get on and off the ship. Heading over to the midship area, it's much the same as far as the security part. However, just past the midship elevators, you'll find the medical center. So again, if you ever do need to visit the medical center, just know it's in the middle of the ship on deck 3. So that concludes our ship tour of the Carnival Jubilee. Hope you found this video informative. If you did, smash that like button below. It really helps us out. We greatly appreciate it. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions about the ship, when you're sailing on the Jubilee, and what you're most excited about. If you want more content from the Carnival Jubilee, be sure to subscribe to our channel, because here at the Nog Vlog, you're always welcome to come take a trip with us.